From out of the man cave and onto the air, it's your favorite voice of ecstasy. It's John St. John with the best morning after ever radio show. 30-some-odd minutes of happenings, discussions, and full frontal nudity. So put your arms around your speakers. It's John St. John.
Yes, it is. I'm back. I have my voice again. Last 4 shows I haven't been able to be here. But I'm back, and it's a beautiful morning, cold morning in Chicago. And we are action-packed this morning. We have a couple of in-studio guests I'd like to introduce. To my right here is Cynthia, and we'll get into her story a little bit later, but she's going to hang out and maybe ask a few questions of our first guest. Say hi, Cynthia.
Hello.
And then we have another celebrity star guest here, Gentleman G from the Gentleman Gurkowski, so I never could say it right, on all over cable in the Chicagoland area. So check out Comcast, CAN TV. Where else can they find you?
Everywhere but Evanston.
Everywhere but Evanston. There you go.
Good morning.
We got a problem with Evanston, huh?
Yeah.
So good morning, everybody, and let's finally welcome our weekly guest for our Friday show, who didn't have any problems with his voice, but he's back on with me again. Rich Gore, your entertainment concierge. Are you on the line with us, Rich?
I most certainly am.
There he is. Well, hello and welcome to the show. What's going on in the entertainment world, specifically theater?
Well, I just went to Titanic. That's a show that's really neat. That's a little history here. Griffin Theater has been around for like 26 years. This is a new Titanic show. You know, the first show, that original Broadway hit Titanic, was in 1997, and it won 5 Tony Awards, including the award for the Best Musical. Well, this show was created in 2012, and it's a more intimate version of the original Broadway play. They've changed a lot of stuff with it. Chicago is the first major U.S. city to experience this new reworked intimate musical, the Titanic.
Before Broadway.
Yes, it's pre-Broadway. As a matter of fact, in 2012, it played in Ithaca, New York. It was scheduled. Then it went to London. It was scheduled to open on Broadway. They couldn't find space in a major Broadway playhouse for it, so we're catching it here. Eventually, they planned to take it to Broadway. It was scheduled a couple of years to get there. It's going to run until December 7th at Theater Wit. Now, that theater has 199 seats. Well, actually, they've got 3 theaters with 199 seats. Theater Wit is over at Belmont, and it's at Belmont and Racine. And they just remodeled that a few years back. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art theater to see this show in.
Did they truck in all the water too?
No water, and there's no fear because you can't get 1,500 people. That was lost in that tragedy on the Titanic. You know, it was its maiden voyage in 1912, and it's unique that 100 years later, they're opening the new version of the musical to it. Well, 1,500 people were lost on that Titanic in the sinking where it hit the iceberg in 1912.
Yeah, I mean there were some famous scientists on there, and a lot of elite that were coming over from London, and it was
there's no
big
question.
deal.
Most of the elite were saved, by the way, because ladies, children, and the elite got off the ship first. They could have saved another 500 of them had they filled every boat that they had on it to capacity, but they were about 500 short because they were trying to get away from the boat before it sank. And in any event, it was a tragedy, and now it's a musical, and it's got a cast of 20 people. The original version had a cast of 45. It's cut down, it's intimate, it's very unique, and it's something that you should go see. And
when I think of musicals, I think of more upbeat topics, but I guess it could be a tragedy that they're turned into a musical as well. It makes sense. It's such a big deal, a big event in history.
Absolutely. There were a lot of things learned from the sinking of the Titanic, by the way. A lot of ships were sunk after that. Remember, World War I started a couple of years later, but this was a horrible tragedy on a cruise ship. Nowadays, it would be even worse because you're dealing with 6,000 people on a major cruise ship.
Yeah, they're a little bigger.
They are cities.
I forgot to mention one thing. I want to interrupt. I want to say hello to Ruth, who's not in the studio. this time, but that's okay. She's always with us in spirit, and she's on the phone. And if she has any questions, she'll just ask me real quick, and I'll chime in because we can't hear her through Skype, but that's okay.
Got it. I should mention some openings, some of the things that are going to open real soon. Like talk about Evanston, as we were a second ago. The Piccolo Theater opens the Love of Three Oranges. By the way, the Piccolo Theater is the only theater in the country, the only one in an operating train station. It's their shows are Comida dell'arte, it's Impanto, it's the Love of Three Oranges. That opens on November the 7th in Evanston at the Piccolo Theater. We've got a lot of unique theaters in and around Chicago, and Evanston is only a hop, skip, and a jump away. The Goodman Theater is opening their 11th annual New Stages Festival, and that's like downtown Chicago, right on.
Not in Evanston.
Not in Evanston. It's about a third of their these shows in their annual New Stages Festival, and that'll run till November the 16th, by the way. But about a third of those shows have been fully produced either by the Goodman or other major theaters around the country. So, might be a show that you can catch before it's a pre-Chicago opening show at the Goodman.
Nice theater, another historic theater, another interesting. They always have more like avant-garde stuff at the Goodman. It seems like.
No, it's not. They do. The Goodman does for 50 years what the Goodman does. Most of their shows are major productions, and they normally travel around the country. They normally take very unique theater to see a show in.
I thought most of the plays are kind of unique too, but there's some major plays that are there as well. Then
one of Chicago's treasures. Northlight Theater in Skokie, by the way, in their 40th year, is doing the Agatha Christie, the Mousetrap, classic mystery by the best-selling author Agatha Christie, and that's about to open, and that's at the Northlight Theater. Let's see, is there anything else I should tell you about that?
That's some good stuff for the
it's going to run it. Oh yeah, no, it's suspense and murderer in your midst, and solve those, all leading up to an ultimate final twist. It's a typical Agatha. She's a best-selling author of these mystery novels.
I have a question.
Ruth has a question. Go ahead, Ruth.
How much are the tickets to the Agatha Christie stuff?
Yeah, how much is the Agatha Christie show? Is it is that a pricey one, or is it matinee the only thing we can afford, or what?
No. It's not. It's not an expensive show. I'll get you an answer to that while I'm telling you about the Red Orchid Theater, U.S. premiere of Stand Line. That's over at Red Orchid. Is only a 50-seat theater. It's more of a storefront right on Wells. And Stand Line is a comic drama taking place in Ireland. A gal mourning the death of her husband, and some of her friends are there. And in any event, Stand Line is a U.S. premiere. Profiles Theater is going to close that David Mamet show, the Cryptogram, and they're going to be open. That's going to run till November the 16th. But
whoa, we didn't talk about that yet. You got to highlight that a little bit. David Mamet show. That's always interesting.
Well, it's about 20 years old. It was one of his first. The Profiles Theater always does unique stuff. The Cryptogram had its world premiere in 1994. It's only going to run until November the 16th.
Wait, it's been at that theater the whole time? No.
No.
Okay.
No, it's
gone around the country.
Oh, yeah. No. In the past 20 years, it's been seen all over the country. It was one of David Mamet's first plays. But let's talk about the next one they're going to open. They're bringing back Hellcap on November the 7th, and that'll run till January the 11th. Hellcab is the life of a cab driver. It happens to be on New Year's Eve, one of Chicago's longest-running shows. And it was around for about 9 years, by the way, and this is a revival, and it features a cast of 34 actors. The cab driver is going to be Richard Katofsky, who's played the role many, many times. You might have seen him on some of his TV and film credits, like the movie Little Falkers, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, Chicago Fire, Chicago Code. He's all over the place. One of the known actors. Hellcab is you need 34 actors on stage in a small theater.
He's one of the leads, you're saying?
Yes, he's the cab driver.
Okay. So he was.
Hey, John, I've got another question.
She's got another question. Go ahead, Ruth.
All right,
Main
so
man,
are any
main
of these
man.
venues appropriate to take children? Like, of course, you wouldn't want to take babies or anything, but at what age would you recommend bringing your child to the theater, and what venues are, acceptable to take young people?
Great question. She's asking about all age shows, or what's like the these shows are not for 18 and over, most of them, right? I've never thought about it, but bringing kids to the theater, how's that go for Broadway plays?
At all. They don't recommend young youngsters. By the way, in answer to Ruth's question, what does Northlight charge for the previews? It's between $25 and $54. For the regular run, it's between $25 and $75. Not expensive.
That's not bad. And most of these shows do accept, like if a kid, like if Ruth brings her 4-year-old with, and the baby, the newborn, that probably doesn't work out too well.
Newborn, no, because it's going to be interfere with a lot of the other audience people.
Okay, but they don't really. That's it. It's funny that I've never thought of that question before, but I guess I don't have the kids yet.
Those that I have mentioned so far are really not recommended for young
kids. Yeah.
No,
okay.
The Agatha Christie one, though, you would
young,
think
if you're
10-year-olds
talking
would
about
like
the
that.
4 and 5-year-olds, there's tons of other things that we can talk about, like Lifeline Theater does.
Ruth was just saying, what about the Agatha Christie one? No, not even that one.
Yeah, you can bring a child to that, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a suspense. It's a mystery. It's not going to hold their attention. I don't think it'll hold the attention of a 3 or 4-year-old. It will hold the attention of 11 or 12-year-olds.
11 or 12, okay.
11 or 12. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a mystery. It's a mystery. It's the ultimate twist. It's suspense. It's that kind of a thing. Well, meanwhile, let's talk about
let's move on. Sorry.
Talk about Chicago Tap Theater. That's a unique theater that we have here. They're bringing us Tidings of Tap at the UIC Theater for 3 or 4 days in December for the holiday season. And for the holiday season, it's tap to live music. Chicago, I don't know that there are any tap theaters anywhere else in the country but here, but there might be.
So they got to come to Chicago to check out the tap show. That's interesting.
Chicago has such unique things.
Yeah, we talk about that
by
every
the
week.
way, this is a
Definitely
a mixture of music. You can be Jewish, you can be Catholic. It's not strictly Christmas. It's not. It's for all religions. It's music of the season, really. Steppenwolf Theater, another great theater here in Chicago. We've got a world premiere that they're going to be bringing us, a pre-Broadway opening. It's called Airline Highway in December. New Orleans burlesque performer who's requested to have her funeral before she passes away, and is attended by her friends, strippers and hustlers and outcasts.
Nice.
And these kind of folks are those kind of folks that make life a little more interesting. And that's going to be a world premiere at Steppenwolf. And meanwhile, George...
That's not for kids. That one's not for kids for sure.
I would say no. That's true. But here...
Gary Sinise is having some interesting shows over at his theater.
At Steppenwolf, for young adults, they have a series that are meant strictly for young adults. They have a world premiere adaptation of Orwell's Animal Farm. When they say young adults, we're talking about teens primarily, okay? But we're talking about a show that will run until November the 14th. Orwell's revolutionary masterpiece. I know I was stuck reading it when I was a kid, the attempt to create an ideal society, democracy, and it does not work. Theory and practice. In any event, Orwell's Animal Farm over at Steppenwolf for young adults.
Yeah.
Rivendell has their 20th season world.
Wait, hold on a minute. Back up. The name of the first performance you're talking about, the one that not for the kids. What was the name of that one again? That sounds.
The pre-Broadway opening, Airline Highway.
Yeah.
Would you take a child to see, Amazing Grace? Maybe. Amazing Grace is going to close on November the 2nd. That's a Broadway in Chicago production. That is a pre-Broadway opening.
Okay.
Brought to us by Broadway in Chicago.
See, we are the best. We're better than New York. That's what I keep saying on the broadcast every time Rich is on with us. We sometimes have more stuff than even New York, the Broadway stuff. You know?
We've got 250 different theater companies here. We've got 160 spaces. New York is crowded. They couldn't even get the Titanic on one of their main stages a couple of years back.
New York's loss is our gain with the musical.
They don't have the number of theaters that we have. No. Yes, I got to admit one thing. New York always has names. They have the famous names coming in, but that's one thing that they do have. We've got a few, but not certainly as many as that perform in New York. Let's talk about Broadway in Chicago for a second. That's the world's largest touring organization. They bring in shows from Broadway to Chicago, from Chicago to Broadway. In any event, launching their tour now for dancing pros at the Cadillac Palace, November the 1st and the 2nd. The show's going to be hosted by Alan Thicke. There'll be lots of celebrities. Let's see, WGN are going to be there. American Idol is going to have somebody there. Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Can Dance. Some of the best dancers from around the world in this show, and that's the Dancing Pros, opening November the 1st, Broadway in Chicago at the Cadillac Palace.
Cool.
I mentioned Amazing Grace. That's closing on November the 2nd over at the Bank of America Theater. Well worth a look if you can catch it before it goes. That's the story behind the hymn, the song, the hymn.
Awesome. Cadillac.
They've got that's at the Bank of America.
That's the Bank of America. Okay.
Okay. There's also shows at the Broadway Playhouse, like Dee Snider's Rock and Roll Christmas Tale.
Is that opened yet?
No, that opens November the 4th.
Okay.
It'll run till January the 4th, and that's at the Broadway Playhouse. That's the old Drury Lane into Water Tower.
That's got to be interesting. I mean, it's not actually the real Kiss players, right? Or is it the band? Is it Gene? It's not Gene Simmons.
No, but this is it's a rock and roll Christmas tale. I should mention that in November we have Annie at the Cadillac Palace, and we're going to have Hansel and Gretel at the Broadway Playhouse. They also have Disney's Newsies coming in January to the Oriental Theater. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Now those are two shows for the kids. 3, 4. Annie, Hansel and Gretel, Disney's Newsies, and Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
Interesting. There's a kid one. There you go for Ruth. There's our kids show.
Hey,
then we got Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus coming here to the United Center and at Allstate. That'll open out there at Allstate on November the 5th, just to give you an idea of what's going on over there.
Okay.
I could tell you about Chicago Dramatist and their holidays show. They're opening on the.
Well, we're coming pretty close to the end of the segment. So what's another big highlight? What's another themed one maybe for the we're doing this show during the Halloween season here.
Well, a few things I should throw out, like Chicago Shakespeare over at Navy Pier is closing King Lear, but they're opening a Q Brothers Christmas Carol on November the 19th, on November the 7th and the 8th for the kids. By the way, we've
Yay.
got CPS Shakespeare, Chicago Park, just CPS, Chicago Park Public Schools. This is 26 students, 9 teachers, and 60-minute shows that are going to be put on the November the 7th and 8th. And they're doing
question.
the Midsummer
Wait,
Night.
Ruth's got another question before we wrap up. Go ahead, real quick, Ruth.
Where can we find all of this information? Does Rich have a blog? Does Rich have a website?
That's a good question. You know, Rich, we never really brought up where we find you online. I know you do a newsletter, but to wrap it up, where can we find this information from our awesome guest, Rich Gore, from Your Entertainment Concierge?
They call you or email the show, and then you get in contact with me, and I'll get back in contact with them.
Okay, you're not giving out the email address or phone numbers or anything. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I do a lot of things for a lot of folks through several organizations that I'm in either charge of or running or whatever.
Okay.
But those are funded operations. Okay.
Gotcha.
They're welcome to call me about finding out how to get hooked in with that. I should mention it's Halloween coming up.
Yep.
I should mention a couple of things that you can do on Halloween.
We got about 30 seconds. What is it?
Well, that new musical, A Nightmare on Back Street, combination of Nightmare on Elm Street and the Backstreet Boys. That's
okay.
Halloween. You've got the haunted pub crawl in Chicago in Wrigleyville. You got a sing-along over at the auditorium and a costume party. You've Navy Pier's got a masquerade ball, Adler Planetarium, the Curse of the Blood Moon on October the 30th.
Wow. Well, you got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we've run out of time. I'm going to go into a break. Before I do, Rich, you like to do your special sign-off. You can take us into my commercial.
Let me just say, hey, old bean, and you too, baby. This is Rich, your entertainment concierge. Signing off, and until next time, stay warm.
Take care, Rich. And yeah, you could find him. Just find me on the internet through Slam, on Facebook, Twitter. We're all over now, finally, and we can get the scoop for you. Just listen to our shows, and you can hear what's going on in all things Chicago theater and around the country, mostly Chicago. But that's Richard Gore, your entertainment concierge. And he's usually with us every Friday, and maybe sometimes he'll come on other shows, but mostly our Friday guy for our entertainment segment. And after we come back from the break, I actually did see a bunch of cool movies I'm going to share with the panel and Ruth and everything, and we'll get their insight on what they think about the actors and stuff. And it kind of relates to our show theme as well. So we'll do that right after this. But I do want to mention one of our sponsors, the sparkmaker.com. That's TheSparkmaker.com. So check them out online, thesparkmaker.com, and make sure you enter in a special code for a 10% discount, which is Facebook, just the word Facebook 14. And that will allow you to get a discount on all the great products that are offered through our sponsor. A lot of interesting, kinky Halloween costumes available. So check it out for the holiday, which is actually coming on us here in a couple of days. And, you'll find something you like. If not, there's all kinds of other cool games and just things for the adults, adult toys, I guess you could call it. Check that out at www.thesparkmaker.com. And we'll be right back after this.
I saw Sparks last night. She finally showed me her favorite website. It made my jaw drop at first glance. We had the wildest time together, ordering from the erotic shop, and I'd have to say, thesparkmaker.com lived up to its name. And now, I have plans to surprise her. I'll show her something she hasn't seen. Thank you, thesparkmaker.com. Don't miss him any longer. John St. John is back to fill your ears with his goodness on the best morning after ever radio show. John?
Yes, we're back here with our special guest, and I mentioned her briefly there during Rich's segment, but I forgot my awesome co-host, Ruth Flett. Hi, Ruth.
Can you forget? Oh my gosh!
Because I wasn't looking at you. You know, you had before I got sick. You actually graced us with your presence, so I'm staring right at you. But right now, I'm looking at Gentleman G. So he's a good-looking guy. I don't know if he's as good-looking as Ruth, but So, and I thought of him. I thought of my guest that's coming on our next show. She's hanging out with us for a couple of days here with us.
You have to describe him in detail for me. I want details.
Gentleman G.
I'm not as secretive as the last guy. You can get a hold of. I have a website, tvhams.com.
Yeah.
I'm also on Facebook, The Gentleman Grachowski Show.
And he's been around for a while on TV.
Yeah, I gained a lot of weight.
He's a cool dude. A little beefy, but that's okay because it works for the show. They used to do comedy stuff, and it's a good show. You should check it out. The Gentleman Grachowski on everywhere but Evanston.
Right?
Did I get that right? I heard it
everywhere
right.
but Evanston. Yes, that's correct.
I think that's fine. What's
he's got the face for radio.
What's wrong with Evanston, by the way?
They have their own little thing going on.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was born in Evanston. Evanston's awesome.
No, I got no complaints about it. If you like purple, that's the spot to be.
You're right, the purple line.
What's wrong with purple?
We have another guest she'll be on a couple shows, but she's hanging out today with us. This is Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Hello.
So, anyway, I saw some really cool movies. I want you guys to chime in. I don't know if everybody been to the movies lately? Are they up? Are anybody up to date on what's been going on? All the dramas, comedies?
Not lately.
Pretty much
here.
all the Marvel movies that are out. That's pretty much everything that's been dominating.
I live under a rock. You have to.
Okay,
From us.
so this is going to be an interesting segment. I guess I'm going to do all the talking. Well, I know I emailed. At least I emailed Ruth that we'd be talking movies, but I guess I should have asked if you had actually seen the movies. But anyway,
yeah, I'm super lazy. I'm so lazy. I was like really hoping you would just tell me all about them,
No,
so I don't even
I
have.
will.
So I don't have to
I
pay. I'll
will.
save money. Then I won't have to go to the movie and see the movie.
right? No, I've got 5 minutes, and I think I can do it. Sum it up pretty quick. What it is, and it kind of relates to the show's theme a little bit, and our sponsor, thesparkmaker.com, because every one of these movies dealt with the father-son relationship, and just having the absentee father and having almost like the Oedipus Rex thing going on with the mother. So yeah, kind of a weird theme with all three movies I saw, and they all were produced in the last couple of years. They're all released in the last month, and it's kind of a weird common thread that I was thinking about after the movies. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. We got a little Shakespeare-esque thing going on with these movies because. The first one is The Judge. I'll just say the names here. Let's just get right into it. 3 movies I saw in the last week, actually. And I got a special screening for The Judge when it was down here in Chicago with Robert Downey Jr. as the kind of the prodigal son. So we get a little
he's
biblical.
so sexy. I love Robert Downey Jr.
People used to say I look like Robert Downey Jr. before I got chunky. So anyway, there we go. So you don't like me now, but you could have liked me then. But anyway, so he's in it. Robert Duvall plays his father, who actually is a small-town judge in this, a very influential judge in this community in Indiana, which I don't know if they really shot in Indiana because it was really hilly and rocky, and that's actually more like the Ohio area, the northern Ohio. And then maybe if you go into Starved Rock area of Illinois. But anyway, good movie. I mean, it was about his dad is just a stubborn guy. He actually put his son in jail when he was a kid because Robert Downey Jr. played a screw-up kid who ends up, turning his life around, okay, and becomes this big hotshot defense lawyer that defends mobsters and just infamous criminals, and usually gets them off. So.
Okay, Mario, most important part about The Judge, is there any nudity? Do we get to see Robert Downey Jr. naked?
Now Ruth is just going to go that angle.
The mom's got to be hot if there's an Oedipus.
That's all I care about.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I mean.
Someone's got to be hot in that movie.
Yeah, right. You got the hot mom, but the mom is not hot. No, not in this one.
Is she naked, though?
She's actually dead. The mother dies, actually, at the beginning of the movie.
Okay, that's gross.
Yeah, so... But that's not the one that had the Oedipus Rex thing going on. Just I'm saying it was kind of a common theme with the father-son thing. Just the weird relationships of
But
the
she used
family.
to take showers with the son, right? That's where it's coming from.
That was before. I think Ruth would like that
right?
because it's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh
but no. See, so anyway,
what part of the movie did he have relationship with his mom?
Yeah, there was no relationship with his mom. His mom dies while he's...
You said it was an Oedipus.
Yeah, no, that's in the next movie. We got 3. We got 3
okay.
movies. We got 3 movies.
Yeah, we're combining.
Did he say they all tied together?
Yeah, no, they all tie together because I'm getting to it. The first one is more of the conflict between the father and the son. Okay. Another Shakespearean thing to it. But the Oedipus Rex part comes from the movie. It's called St. Vincent, actually, with Bill Murray and Jennifer McCarthy's niece. What is her name? Melissa McCarthy. Thank you.
The big
I don't
girl.
have the info in front of me. The big girl, right? So she, it's the mother-son relationship there, and it's kind of a weird turn of the movie how he ends up going from being coddled by his mother into actually becoming really good friends and having this great role model, and believe it or not, Bill Murray, who's an Army vet.
Right, and then there was a pregnant stripper in there.
And there's a pregnant stripper in there. Yes,
fun.
there is. I was going to get to the whole mother thing.
I'm sorry.
Hang on a second. How pregnant is the stripper?
The pregnant stripper is very pregnant. I mean, obviously, you could tell it's prosthetics, but she's supposed to be
she bends
9
over.
months pregnant.
She bends over a lot.
And she bent. Okay, have you seen the movie?
No, I saw commercials.
Okay, Gentleman G has not seen the movie, but he's seen the commercial. It's all he needed to see.
So
but
does she
it's true.
Give birth on stage? Is that she's 9 months pregnant on the stage,
the joke
stripping, and then
the joke is that no, they don't. Why they not because she's Russian. Why they not like me? I have a little puff. So what? But the truth is she's literally ready to give birth. But the weird part is with the mother-son relationship of that movie, and then the final movie I saw. The Judge. St. Vincent, and I just saw this the other day. This Is Where I Leave You, which is, I don't know if it's really Oedipus Rex because I'm just using it as an example with the whole mother loving the son, because actually Jane Fonda's in this movie. It's an all-star cast, and This Is Where I Leave You. It's Jane Fonda, it's Jason Bateman, it's I can't even think of all the extra from Saturday Night Live. She was on
Sarah Palin.
No, she looks like Sarah Palin, right?
Yeah.
Tina Fey, thank you.
Hey.
Tina Fey's in it, as well as a couple other newer, not as well known actors, and then the guy from the Channel 5 NBC show. Now I'm drawing a blank. He was in a bunch of Dax Shepard's in it. Thank you. Okay. He plays the boss of Jason Bateman. He's on radio actually, so that was cool.
So
Radio
wait,
guy.
Sarah Palin is in a...
No, it's not Sarah Palin. It's Tina Fey. You guys are killing me. I was trying to make a point here. Anyway, all three of these movies... Go ahead.
The mother is naked, right?
Yeah, the mother gets naked. And
That's
she
Jane
ends up-
Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
She
I was
got
going to
fake-
get to
fake
Jane Fonda,
breasts.
who's the mother.
Right.
And she actually ends up... They reveal it towards the end of the movie that instead of just having the relationship with her son and being very close to her son... who then leaves and goes and becomes famous radio producer, which is cool in the movie, by the way. But anyway, and it's a great scene with the guy's car, because there's another part I forgot to tell about. In the beginning of the movie, Jason Bateman and his wife end up breaking up because Dax Shepard is sleeping with Jason Bateman's wife. So it's a crazy movie. You got to see it. But
it sounds good.
The underlying theme of all three of these movies is the father-son, the mother-son relationship, how it's so jaded, basically. Yeah. And, just a weird kind of commentary on, I guess, what's happening in our society these days. And, maybe we need more family time. I don't know. But definitely the couples time would be good for the sparkmaker.com. Go to the sparkmaker.com, and that'll you can enjoy a little time alone. But that would be the husband-wife, not the kids and the parents. I'm not condoning it for that. So, but anyway, three really actually I was actually crying in one of them. Believe it or not, I'm pretty macho dude, and I'm crying because it is really sad in St. Vincent what happens. With Bill Murray. So I didn't want to give away too much of any of the movies, but it sounds like, Gentleman G over here, sounds like you saw most of the movie through the commercial. How long was that commercial? Jeez.
IMDb, my friend, IMDb.
Okay, very good. So he's seen a lot of the clip, but that was just a weird combination of how all those movies kind of had an underlying theme of just the goofed up lives these days, of families. So anyway, that was pretty much all I wanted to say about that.
Cool.
To quote Forrest Gump. That's all I wanted to say about that.
The Judge, St. Vincent, and what was the last one?
So it's The Judge, St. Vincent, and This Is Where I Leave You. So I am definitely giving him a high recommendation to go see these movies. And you might find that I'm not crazy and you actually agree with, oh, yeah, there is a little theme going on there.
And you saw them all for free, right?
No. Actually, I'm not working with the company that was having me go see the movies and review them anymore. I want to bring that segment back here. But, that's kind of a weird arrangement I had with some of the movie companies. Oh. And, I have to pay. But, I go to the day,
it's cheaper.
The cheap ones, the matinees,
yeah.
So, but anyway, that was a quick show. I mean, Richard just talks about so much stuff. I never want to interrupt him except with a few questions, as you guys heard.
I was curious. You got time?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. We'll go over.
The Titanic, is that the one from the movie with that girl that My Heart Must Go On?
Yeah, no.
Or is it just other stuff related to like rock the boat, don't tip the boat over? Yeah. Is that one of the songs they're going to sing?
No. We should have really pegged him down on that because
Sink the Pink maybe or Come Sail Away, something like
right. Yeah, I want something a little more modern to the musical part of it. Yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to make a point of though. I mean that's kind of a sad story to be making a musical out of.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know what songs would be featured, and I would imagine they'd be original. I would think for the musical. I guess we got to go see it and find out, don't we, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
Oh, well. Well, we went a little over, but that's okay. They may cut us off on the network, but who cares? So, everybody, till next time, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, slaminternetradio.com, Spreaker.com, Blog Talk Radio, and one of these days we'll be on YouTube and iTunes if we can figure out how to do it. Everybody, take care. You've been listening to the best morning after ever. Have a great morning, and we'll see you next week.